Back to my channel. Today I am filming my weekly check-in with Weight Watchers. Been on Weight Watchers for 2 weeks now, and this is my first check-in. I did weigh myself the first week, like to the initial weigh-in and a week ago, but I've not had time with New Year's and Christmas and all of that to film my first weigh-in. So thought I would just combine the two, and honestly I really was wanting to start on my journey on January 1st, but I did start 2 weeks early to get some practice, just get myself more familiar with the program, be able to get some healthy items for snacks and dinners, and start planning out that process. So but in one of my previous videos, I struggled with deciding if I wanted to put my starting weight out there. It's embarrassing. I can't believe I let myself get this heavy. And once it's out there on the internet, it's out there for everyone to see. But I've decided that I have to give this 110%. And by doing that, I need to put my starting weight out there. So my starting weight on December 17th, 2016 was 358.6 pounds. I cringe saying that. Now, to be fair, I probably have been heavier at some point in my life, but this is the first time I've ever officially weighed in. You know, I don't know if you're like this, but for me, the heavier I get, the less I want it to be near a scale. So, and also too, when I started, I'd eaten breakfast for that day. I'd had like 2 cups of coffee, but I had to do my initial weigh-in, and so this may have been a little bloated for my first numbers. Sorry, my dog is squeaking her toy in the background. Roxy, do you want to be in the video? No? Sit. She doesn't listen. Anyway, so when I weighed in on my weight, I started on a Saturday, so my weigh-in date was originally on a Saturday. I did change my weigh-in date weekly to on Sunday. I work Tuesday through Saturday, so Sunday mornings are kind of my reset for the weekend. So also I go to my grandmother's to eat lunch on Sundays, so I kind of figured that my points would reset on Sunday, so any of the greasy and buttery vegetables and things that she fixes, I would be able to have the whole week to work them off. So, but when I did weigh in the first time, it was on a Saturday, and my weight, my first official weigh-in for my first week was 350.4. So I lost 8.2 pounds, which I was ecstatic. I stopped drinking sodas, just drank water, and I think that has a big side effect, big effect on why I did lose so much weight. But as some of the people on Connect have been amazing. If you don't use Connect, I highly recommend that on the Weight Watchers app. But they're like, don't apologize for that first week loss, no matter how big or small it may be. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I changed something in my life and I got results. So now this week I did weigh in today, which is New Year's Day, January 1st, 2017. And my weight was exactly 351. That is a gain of 0.6. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I had last night for New Year's, I stayed home, but I had 2 sushi rolls. I went out with one of my best friends yesterday. We had hibachi, which I got steamed rice instead of fried, and I had chicken with mushrooms, and a little bit of soy sauce, but all the sodium and everything I know affected my numbers. So, and coming from the week between Christmas and New Year's, a 0.6 gain, I'm okay with that. But I've focused in. I've got my meal plan ready for this week. I went grocery shopping yesterday. That haul should be coming in the next couple days. I'm not sure which one of these I'll get up first. But I am ready to tackle this 100% now. So that was my weekly check-in. Now, what I'm going to try to do, because normally I will not have that much to talk about on the first video, from when I do a weigh-in. So I'm going to try to I've got kind of some notes here, so I apologize if I look down. But I've got about 6 steps that I want to cover in each of my weigh-in videos. First one, I'm always going to start with the weigh-in, what I weighed in at, the loss, the gain, if I can, pinpoint like what may have caused that or what I did differently. Second one I'm going to try to do is something, a positive for the week. Something that I can, pat myself on the back and say, Amanda, you did a really good job at this. You might not have had the loss that you wanted or blah, 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 but you can really be proud that you did this. So for this week, I'm proud of myself that I have tracked every day for 2 solid weeks. It's almost ingrained in me now. Now, sometimes it's like when I'm out to dinner with my friend, I'm like, man, do I really want to track this? But I knew where we were going beforehand, so I was kind of able to choose healthier options and figure out, what would fit in with my numbers for the day. But tracking every day for 2 weeks has been great for me, and I really enjoy it. I almost feel like my meal is not complete unless I've tracked it. So I usually try, especially the days that I'm working, I try to track everything at the beginning of the day. But on my days off, when things aren't as structured, then I have a tendency to kind of track as I go. Third thing I want to talk about is a negative, something that looking back on, I realized that, yeah, you didn't quite take care of this the right way. So my negative was, the month of December is sweets and candies and cookies and chocolate and peppermint flavored things. And before I decided to start this Weight Watchers journey, I had bought tons of holiday things. And I live by myself. So when I buy these things, guess who's going to eat them? Me. So I knew I should have tossed the items. And I'm like, no, they're individually wrapped. If I just want to grab one piece, no, I have no willpower. So one piece turns into half a bag. So that's where I should have just taken the items and thrown them away, or taken them to a family member or someone else that would not be, so they'd be out of my life. But I didn't, and part of that 0.6 gain was those candies that I did not settle for just one. The number 4 is a food find for the week. And I got this idea off multiple YouTube channels, but the main one that I saw this on is the Skinny on Weight Loss. I love them. So they always talk about a food find for the week. Well, mine this week, I've had a couple things that I've enjoyed, but most of them have been on, other YouTube channels or things like that. I didn't feel like they were anything very unique. But something for me that has really helped me, because I am not a really big breakfast person, but I actually find myself craving this breakfast in the mornings, is my breakfast sandwich. I do it open-faced on a smaller plate, and I know that whole mind thing, it totally works. I was always skeptical of it, but I tried it, putting my meal on a smaller plate, tricked my mind into thinking that I'm full, and if I had been on a bigger plate, then I would have no, you can't be full off that. But anyway, so I do 2 scrambled eggs with 1/8 of a cup of shredded cheddar. I get quite a few points a day, so I love cheese. I would rather sacrifice something else than sacrifice on my fat-free cheese. So I do use the full-fat cheese. I think I'll eventually get down to where I'm not, but right now I am using the full-fat cheese. So 1/8 of a cup cheddar. An English muffin, I will open face that, put a little bit of cooking spray on my pan, put them face, the insides down, get them just a little bit toasted, because I do them open face, I don't do them like a sandwich. And then I take the Canadian bacon, which is that I use is the Land O'Lakes. I can get 5 pieces for 1 point. I believe the app says you can go up to 7, but 7 pieces for me is way too much. So I usually cook 5 pieces. I usually give 1 to my dog, but I track it as 5 because sometimes I eat the whole thing. and then 2 eggs. I forgot if I said that or not. But I just cooked that up, and I put that on my own, like put the English muffins down, then put the Canadian bacon, cook that on each side, then put the eggs on top. It's a 10 to 11 point breakfast depending on the English muffin that you use, and then I usually have it with a side of fruit. I was doing coffee with the creamer, with the sugar-free creamer, but I've tried to cut back on that, so I would rather have my extra point for that cheese than to have it as cream in my coffee. So, but that has helped me, like, really force myself to start eating breakfast in the morning. Otherwise, sometimes I would just skip or grab, like, a granola bar or just put so much sugar into my body to start with, and no. A non-food favorite, and I meant to grab it, but I believe I showed it in a haul a while back, was my Veggetti. I love it. It's the Veggetti Pro. I think they have them at Walmart. You can for like $9.99. Totally worth it. It has 3 different blades, like a thin spiral, a thick spiral, and I think a ribbon cut. Only thing I've used it for is zucchini. I've made a couple stir fries. I have made like a saute of onions, garlic, zucchini, and then just throw just a little bit of corn in there and sauteed it up. And I ate that with a Smart one day. Oh, it was so good. But it's so easy to use. It's easy cleanup. It's easy to store. Everything breaks down. I usually leave mine put together just because I have the room to be able to store it. But if you don't have the room, you can break it down. But love that. A meal that the last thing I want to talk about each week is a meal that I either made the previous week or a meal that I'm planning to make the next week. Now, I did make, this past week, I made Mexican stuffed shells, and if I can find the recipe again, I wrote the recipe down, but if I can find the recipe again, I will link it below. I think when she calculated it, the person that created the recipe calculated it for 9 points, 9 smart points. When I calculated it, it was 10 smart points. Like I said, I did use the full fat cheese, and there was something else that I think that we may have used, like a different brand or something, but when I put mine in, it was 10 points for serving, and that was makes a big 9 by 13 pan full, and it was, I broke it up as 8 servings. So I cooked that, I think, on Tuesday, and I ate that throughout the week. So with it just being me, sometimes I have to do that. I'll have to make a whole recipe and eat on it for several days. I could eat that probably at least once a month for a whole week. So I'll link that recipe below. But that's it. Now as I go, I may, adjust these videos to things that, I feel like are more important, or something that maybe I don't have a non-food find for that week or something. But, yeah, so this is my weekly check-in. This next week, I really hope to focus on my water. Like I said, I have some, the 2017 goals that I really want to focus on with health and fitness. So this is going to be the first week to put those into place. So everybody's, resolutions are crappy. You shouldn't resolutions. Well, if they work for you, then do it. I wrote all my goals down. I have them in my little notebook here. I have already got it this morning and wrote my meal plan for the week. I went to the store. I'm prepared. So I'm hoping next week I'll have a loss. If not, then I'll figure out what I did wrong and we will correct it the next week. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a comment, something that, if you have any links for good recipes. I like comfort food kind of stuff, like the Mexican stuffed shells. I'm going to make some soup, I think either tomato basil soup or some lasagna soup in the next couple weeks. So if you have any good recipes or websites for recipes, leave them down below. Like I said, I'm still learning, so any wisdom or knowledge that you have will be much appreciated. But leave me a comment, subscribe, and I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Bye.